Mr. McLemore, would you like to start with 1.3 on the agenda, please, which is no 1.4?
Thank you, Madam President. So item 1.4 is a resolution to abolish and create new positions for the 23-24 school year. So and no one's being laid off, by the way, with all of these abolishments and creations. But as a result of this happened as a result of the number of movements that are going to happen. So let me just share with you. There's a K-12, 812 class that's going to be disbanded, and the teacher and the 2 teaching assistants are going to be transferred to Gardnertown to cover a formation of a new class, which is a 913. Then there's a UPK, one UPK classroom from Gardnertown that's going to be moved to Bombville. And there's an intermediate 812 classroom at Bombville that's going to go to GAMS. And then there's a 1211 classroom comprised of kindergarten students that will move from GAMS to Bombville. So as a result of this, there's a lot of movement and shifting, and there's going to be a couple displacements in which we will have a displacement meeting. So that's why you'll see the abolishments and creations, but no one is being laid off.
So I have a big question. Do we need to have a resolution about this?
You should have an accounting of the positions, so it does make sense.
Okay. So do either of you have any questions about this? Go ahead.
But all these movements, and it looks like it's mostly special education students, I'm going to assume, because I haven't heard, that the personnel that is needed in terms of everything like the art and music and all that stuff that goes with it, all that's going to be included with that, because all these kids get certain services and that wasn't mentioned. So I'm assuming that all that will be in place, because I didn't hear that.
Mr. Bayer.
So at Bombville and
At any school, Bombville, wherever.
specific to these 2 schools, it's essentially a flip-flop of 2 special class programs.
Mhm.
And both Dr. Vaughn and Mr. Lowacki assimilate the kids in these programs into a general ed setting. So it does not require additional music, art. There's sessions that they are grouped into for general ed population during that time. So they don't have their separate music, their separate sessions. So it's accommodated in the master schedule when these programs flip flop. There's no additional need there.
And how it works out.
How about you?
I'm the same.
So I do have a question. So when their IEP, children's IEPs are done and they have special services that are attached to their IEPs, are those available, or are we going to be, or is the board going to be asked to add more services? For example, physical therapists or counselors, school psychologists, or who will provide those services?
So as it currently stands, we've done an analysis of our related services personnel. There's a likelihood we're going to come forward and ask for an additional speech therapist, but it will be a cost neutral decision, because we'll be able to go down, if the board approves it, special education teacher we do not need. So it's a cost neutral decision, but yes, there will be an increase in the number. And this is a general problem because what's going on in preschool and having additional need for speech therapists at the kindergarten level.
Are you going to be able to find a speech therapist?
Yeah,
That's
actually,
the problem.
We're excited about it.
And then one more question, even in that pre-K class, those parents have an option of going to another school. So I'm just saying, when it's time for them to move up from pre-K, will they have the services? Because I don't know if Bombville has a kindergarten class, if those parents want them to stay at Bombville. So when it's time for them to move, what is the process? Because they have the option to go to other buildings or stay.
So pre-K registration, pre-K registration goes by zone. So they're assigned to their program based on their busing zone. When it's time for them to register for kindergarten, it's by choice. And then they're assigned, there's a lottery. And if there's room in that building, then they go to their first choice school.
Okay, because I don't know if Longville has a kindergarten class to for special ed.
So the pre-K students, that would
That's a
be,
different question.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I'm
please.
saying. If they want to stay at Longville, the Longville have the services that stay.
So is there a continuum in that
Yeah.
special ed term? And that would be a question for Chris.
There's two pieces. So the pre-K students are not special education students, which is a regular
Okay,
preschool program.
okay,
So they would get the lottery just like anyone else. As far as 12-1-1, and prior to me first coming on, there was a 12-1 at Bonneville, and it worked well. The teacher that's retiring actually taught it.
yeah,
So
that's what I'm saying.
we're just going back, I mean, the placement was there 7 years ago. So
I just want to make sure things run smoothly, because right now it doesn't seem like it to me.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to 1.5.
Thank you, Madam President. 1.5 is a resolution to appoint the 21st Century Summer Facilitator, who's going to be organizing it, doing all the programming for the 21st century.
And this is Mrs. Torres Bender, who
Presented
was
yesterday,
presented
yes.
yesterday. Okay. Do either of you have any questions?
Oh, no, but that's what the education.
And how about, let's move on to 1.6.
Thank you, Madam President. 1.6 is similar to 1.5. So this person is going to be doing all the programming for Empire over the summer.
And we heard his
Presentation
presentation yesterday. So either of you have any questions? No. Okay, let's move to 1.7.
Thank you, Madam President. 1.7 is a resolution to appoint spring curriculum writing appointments. And this is professional development and support with assessment of writing quarterly assessments and revising the curriculum.
And this is for grades, it's for science, and it's grades 6 and 7. Lady?
There's multiple, there's ELA, there's science, there's elementary. It's a bunch of different curriculum that needs to be revised and to be worked.
And specific to science course revisions are to bring it to alignment with Gen Ed standards.
And the new science labs for 3 to 5.
Just a
Question?
Any on the high school level?
Not in recent.
Hmm?
That'll be done in the summer. This has to be done before the end of this school year.
All right.
There'll be more summer curriculum writing coming to you.
Do you have a question? Let's move on to 1.8, please.
Thank you, Madam President. 1.8 is a resolution to appoint the Orton Gillingham appointments at Bonneville.
And there's only one at this time.
Yes.
Questions? Let's move on.
Thank you, Madam President. 1.9 is a resolution to approve secondary restorative practice appointments. And this is to update, monitor, plan, and implement restorative practice action plans.
And as you see, Mr. Walker, there's a lot for MFA Maine and MFA North. So, looks good. And West. So, any other questions? Thank you. Let's move on.
Thank you, Madam President. Item 1.10, that's a resolution to appoint the ninth grade orientation appointments. And this is to just create the ninth grade to what is expected at the high school.
And this has been done for a number of years.
Yes.
In summer. Okay. Questions? Thank you. Let's move on.
Thank you, Madam President. Item 1.11 is a resolution to appoint Regents proctoring and grading for the summer.
Is this going to be enough?
We anticipate it will be. We are hopeful it will be. If necessary, we will do an emergency posting one last time, but at the moment, it looks like we're in good shape.
And I have a question, because we had a little grievance with people who were saying that they didn't get a chance to possibly reach the exams once before, wasn't there something going on? So we're gonna make sure that we ask people about proctoring the Regents exams so they won't feel slighted that they were overlooked, like we had that issue before, because I'm trying not to go through that again.
I understand this posting, the posting for proctors is done twice, and the posting for scoring of the regents has been done 3 times. It is my understanding, and I may be in error, but I believe everyone who applied has been appointed.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that we did have that issue. No further questions.
Thank you. Let's move on to 1.12.
Thank you, Madam President. Item 1.12 is a resolution to appoint summer CSE.
Mr. Bear?
So this is for CSE meetings that teachers go to the summer to make sure they maintain compliance. I'd like to point out though, there are 3 people that are mislabeled.
People that what?
Mislabeled. They're listed as CSE CPSC chair people for the summer. That's not the role they'll be serving. The first person, it's really 4 of them. So Ms. Esposito will be a special ed teacher. Ms. Tong is a psychologist. Ms. Kane and Ms. Smith will be in those roles as they're laid out there. And then Ms. Rola Catarina is a teacher, and Keisha Brown is a psychologist. So I just want to give you guys a heads up when this comes before the committee, before the board on Tuesday. We'll correct those based on the role they serve in the district.
Thank you.
But they,
They're all going to be appointed for some
Appointed, but
role.
not the roles that are just that are.
Okay. Can we move on? Let's move on to 1.13.
Thank you, Madam President. Item 1.13 is a resolution to approve National Board of Professional Teaching Standard candidates. And these are appointees who's going to participate in the certification process for National Board teaching.
So we have 7
Yes.
now. Okay, good. That's good. Any questions?
oh no, that's good. That's something good.
1.14, please.
Thank you, Madam President. Item 1.14 is ESYP appointments. These are some additional appointments.
The list goes on and on and on.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And these are for middle school and summer meals. I see a bunch of stuff. Okay. Any questions on this item? Let's move on. 1.15, please.
Thank you, Madam President. 1.15 is a resolution to appoint secondary restorative practices appointments. And this is the district will continue to engage in this PD to support our scholars for SEL.
Who is leading this PD?
So Mr. Regan, who's our director of PPS, has put this together. We've worked with the Justice Center, which is a national organization, and the facilitator is a retired superintendent from Rhode Island who's been doing this for a number of years with us.
Any other question? Okay. Thank you. Let's move on to 1.16, please.
Thank you, Madam President. Item 1.16 is a resolution to approve additional appointments for the school leadership team for CSI and TSI listed there.
Questions on this item? Let's move on to tenure.
So coming before you, we have a list of teachers that will be coming up for tenure. So these are the names.
Less.
Big group this time.
Any questions on this?
Am I correct to,
Go ahead, sir.
am I correct to assume then that, all those listed have not come across any, thing that would, indicate that they should not be announced?
That's correct, sir.
You asked my question, but I was going to ask the same question. Are there any red flags that once it gets to me, gets stuck up?
Okay, thank you. We're going to move on to 1.18, please.
Item 1.18 is the resolution to approve panorama training at Bombville. And Mr. Bear is here to talk about that.
Would you?
Sure.
Thank you.
So if you remember, I've described the panorama implementation plan. We've been working primarily with AIS teachers, administrators, and some SEL members to implement what's called a success plan, which is looking at interventions for kids based on the data that's in panorama. Bombville has requested and has been granted the opportunity to expand this. We intend to hand this on to teachers overall in September, and Bob wants to be trained so they can utilize this as part of their intervention.
So this, okay, so now we have a posting and then you pay the people that are, okay.
Yes. Send it to
Yeah.
Bob.
Sounds good. Anybody else have a question? Okay, let's move on to 1.19, please.
Thank you, Madam President. So at the current time, we have a TBD, but we may or may not have a taker for Tuesday. An appointment.
This is Director of Fine and Performing Arts.
Yes.
Any questions?
Yeah.
Yes,
I
sir.
believe we did settle that. It was actually a student from the district who was a graduate, taught in the district, left the district, and is ready to come back and lead. Very powerful,
This
very
position?
impressive.
Yeah.
Does that
Okay.
seem like performing arts?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
So this is somebody that we're anticipating to fill this position.
Okay, yeah, that's why I asked.
Yes. Oh, her. Okay, let's do 1.20, please.
Thank you, Madam President. Item 1.20, the resolution to approve senior staff rollover vacation days.
Can you explain this a little bit, just a little?
Yes, so in each of our contracts, we have the ability, according to the language in our contract, have the ability to roll over days as we submit them to the superintendent. Superintendent approves it, brings it to the board, and then we can roll over. We have 23 days, 13 days we buy back, and anything beyond that 13 days, which would be 10 or less, we have the ability to roll over.
Does anybody have any questions? Thank you. And thank you, everybody. Thank you all in the back here for a great meeting, and I'll see you all on Tuesday. Thank you.
Thank you.